been Talon on WBGZ. Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
That's right. Another, what's it called? Riverbend Talent.
Another episode?
Yeah.
Another edition?
No, like the name of the show.
Oh, I don't know. I know you're asking. That's above my pay scale to know that kind of stuff.
Anyways, brought to you by Halpin Music Company and Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Town Club.
Of Town Club.
Right.
Because is he cooking down there? Is that the deal?
He's always cooking.
That's
That's what you said last week.
Matt V. Did I say that last week?
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
even remember.
I watched
Was
the
I here
video
last
over
week?
and over and just pull on my, never mind, shirt.
On
My shirt because they're
Sure.
tight. You know,
They're tight.
you don't like V-necks.
I don't like anything close to my neck.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
All right, so there you go. Hey, so it's Thursday night, which
That
means there's
means-
things happening already at this moment. Things are already underway in our little town.
Sea shanties.
The sea shanty sing-along. People are already drunk on Irish whiskey and singing songs.
That's right.
It takes 2 minutes. It started at 6. By 6:02, they're drunk. No, I don't know if that's quite that fast, but...
Let's see, what else is already underway? Up in Jerseyville, Nick Sturgis at George's Local Brew.
Yeah.
Already started, getting going till 9.
Yeah.
Who else? The scruffy-looking Nerf herder.
Love that name.
Underway at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville till 9.
Yeah.
Blake Foltz, underway at the cabin at Judy Creek until 10. And they're having the Speed Demons Cruise in with Sean Garrett, Whiskey River.
All
Right.
Yep.
He's underway until 9 at the new Sage House / Red's Tavern in Bunker Hill.
Okay.
Frankie and the House Shakers down at Granite already underway until 9 o'clock at Patrick's.
Electric Baby Powder almost underway. 6:30. 6:30 is the kickoff.
Yeah.
6:30 is the
Hey,
kickoff for
I
that
hear
one.
a voice.
That dissonant voice that you heard. Now the mic's on. It's not going to be quite so dissonant next
I think
time.
it was on. I just had the wrong one. It's like they've moved them around so much, I lose track of which one.
If they would just label this thing, man.
Or if the lights came on.
Well, you know, that's like for people who can afford lights that work. You know, we've got our guest in studio tonight, Darrius Spangler, known as the Lonesome Blues.
Yes, sir.
For momentarily, Darry Garcia and the Lonesome Blues.
Right.
So you have been playing around this town. First we saw your name pop up as just Darrius Spangler. We saw that hitting around town, and then all of a sudden, Darry Garcia shows up, and somebody told me, "Oh, well, that is Darrius Spangler." I still didn't know you was at that
Right.
time, and for the longest time it was Darry Garcia and the Lonesome Blues. Now you say that name was like one of your friends just kind of jacking around with you.
Yeah,
or something?
pretty much. So Darry has been a nickname for me and my family for quite some time.
For those of you who don't know, he's been named after the food group Darry. No, I don't know.
Essentially, something close to that. So Darry, just short for Darrius or whatever, has been a nickname in my family for a long time. I moved into town. Everybody kind of started calling me that independently without knowing. It's just a natural nickname. And then I got into the Grateful Dead and started playing Grateful Dead music. And then Darry Garcia, which sounds like Jerry Garcia, just was kind of a natural progression. It wasn't something that I necessarily wanted, and I thought that it was a little bit too much, but I kind of rolled with it for a little bit. But Darry Garcia's Lonesome Blues is a little cumbersome to get through, so it's just way easier to do Lonesome Blues.
Well, so we would just call it DGLB
There we go.
to save time.
And if we were to do like a Darry Garcia and Friends, it is funny that it's DGAF. It would be the acronym for that. But
So there you go, man. So now just going under Lonesome Blues.
correct.
That is the stage
Yes.
name. And
Yes.
and now I just saw you. It's weird how it works, but you can't go see everybody. There's people playing all the time, and
Right.
me myself, I like to play, which means I stay home,
Right.
and you know, do my thing a lot.
Right.
So you were around for years before we got to see you. I finally saw you at January, I guess, jamming at the Springs, and one-man band up there doing it all by yourself, all by your lonesome. You feel a little naked sometimes not having a band around you?
There are sometimes it would be nice, and at certain points it has happened with different, groups of friends that have either appeared at my gigs or I've been lucky enough to join certain people in at certain points in time. Marshall and Garcia put on a Grateful Dead Super Jam at the Conservatory a few months back, and that was a really good time, and I was very fortunate and lucky to be a part of that. And at some point in time, it would be nice to be able to flesh that out, but for now, I'm still, I'll probably always do the solo thing, and as long as I have the pedal board that I have that allows me to build an entire band, that helps out a lot, and it makes me capable of doing things that I didn't ever foresee possible.
Yeah. Now, have you, you've met Alex Honky, our
Correct.
engineer back
Correct.
there, his brother-in-law, Jason Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Gordon, you seen that guy work?
Yes, I've definitely seen him.
He's been doing it just a few years. He's logged a couple of hours
Right,
doing
just
this
one or two.
thing.
One or two.
So you use like a lot of guys that build their own songs like that, use a loop pedal,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And that's how you do it.
Right.
You start with one instrument, kind of put a loop on it, and then go
Exactly.
back and
Exactly.
so. Just from my own, personal knowledge, and any other gearhead out there, you lay down your guitar track. Now you got to lay down the bass track.
Mm-hmm.
You have just like an octave pedal that drops it down.
Exactly.
There you go.
I have a micro pog pedal. It's from Electro Harmonics.
Yeah, Electro-Harmonics.
Yep,
That makes
that's what makes me be a bass.
Yeah, right. And then how do you lay down your percussion track?
So I have it's actually a very, very cheap a very, very cheap percussion pad from Cat Percussion, I think. KAT Percussion is the name of the company. I got the idea from Keller Williams, and he has I think it's a Roland Handsonic Pro or something like that is the name of it. And I was like, I could use one of those in my setup. And I realized that it was like over $1,000 for one of those. I was like, let's test the waters first with something a little bit cheaper. Got a deal on something that was a little bit less complicated, and it really works very well for me. So I'll run that into the loop pedal with with an amp switcher basically, and then have the guitar signal coming in the other side of that switcher in reverse into the loop setup, and that allows me to build everything.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, the Handsonic Pro, is that the one you had sitting over at your house, Mr. Dennis?
It's Handsonic something.
Handsonic, yeah, man, those things were so much fun.
They're
Had
super
the little
cool.
slides on the side of them. Hours of my life I'll never get back spent on it. Not that I want it back.
I was about to
good.
say, that's a pretty good investment of your
Yeah,
time.
I was going to say that. I don't want that time back. I
Right.
want the time, that I worked back.
For sure.
So I could play with a Handsonic more. Anyway, so there you go. That anybody who has not seen a looper, like you bring up Keller Williams, he's
Incredible.
I've seen that guy a few times, and he's kind of ridiculous.
Absolutely.
On some-
Over the top in the best way.
Yeah, he's a bit ridiculous with it all, and it just he's pretty smooth. But anyway, So you just heard Darry. We'll just call you Lonesome Blues.
Cool.
We just heard Mr. Lonesome Blues explaining his technique of how you use the looper to record and loop like a lot of guys do. What made you decide to go with the one-man band? Had you had bands and realized it's hard to get these guys together every week? You'd get tired of calling, so you just do your own thing?
So the closest thing that I've had to a band per se is like my best friend, the only person that I really keep in touch with from high school on a regular basis. We did an acoustic duo for a while. They live out in Colorado, and actually I went out to go to a few Dead and Company shows, and while I was out there, we actually played 4 gigs last week in Colorado together,
Nice.
which is cool, but obviously we're far apart, so it's hard for us to get together, and then just coordinating schedules to actually get a band together is very difficult. Most recently, I did have a trio with Gordo's brother, Jared,
Jared,
and
yeah.
then his buddy, Kevin Angel.
Yep.
They played about half of a show with me at the Conservatory back in May, I'm pretty sure it was. And that was a really good time, but it's just difficult to coordinate a full schedule for 5+ people to all get together to rehearse and be able to have a band and so what and so forth. As far as the one-man band aspect, that plays an element. And then even before I was into playing Grateful Dead music, I did instrumental percussive fingerstyle guitar, which I do have an original album that's out. I haven't practiced or rehearsed any of my original tunes in a couple of years at this point. But that's kind of like doing a one-man band thing without a loop pedal. You can do like percussion on the side of the guitar and like the bass part, harmony, and melody all at once by yourself.
Live.
Yes.
Nice.
And I kind of ended up getting burnout on that because it was very technical, and any time that I would make a mistake, like just miss one note, even if it was a song I wrote, it's like I messed the whole thing up. And I discovered the Grateful Dead, and it was kind of like, oh, wait, the whole point is to push yourself, and if you make a mistake because you're improvising, like, that's okay. Just hop back on the train, and that was kind of liberating and freeing to me. So in the 4-ish years... Yeah, going on 5 now, I think. Since I discovered that, it's been no looking back.
Right.
But
yeah, well, I felt the same way when I first saw the Dead. There was definitely you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Right,
man.
right. They're not just the best at what they do, they're the only ones that do what they do.
I've never seen anybody else do exactly what they did, and it had as many incarnations as they've come up with since Jerry. They're still pushing it, but yeah, there must have been some magic out there.
For sure. It's still out there.
The original album you're talking about, Notes of My Life from 2017.
Yep.
Checked it out today.
Yep.
A lot of instrumental stuff on there.
Uh-huh.
He does Celine Dion covers.
Not on that album, but I did do a My Heart.
I found whatever
My Heart
was
Will Go On.
Okay.
That didn't make the album, but
Okay.
I think I have a video on YouTube maybe or Facebook of that or something.
Reverb Nation, remember those days?
Okay. Yeah. It's been a hot minute.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been a hot minute.
Well,
but-
I like to Google search, and
Right.
Do you ever Google search yourself? Most people don't.
Oh, yeah. I have before,
Right.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well, I'm just updating you on your Google.
Right. I want to see what comes up for everybody else, not just myself.
Well, an article from the Telegraph came up
Cool.
stating that you started when you were 3 years old on the drums.
Correct.
Pots and pans first.
Yep.
Like everybody.
Pots and pans might have actually been before 3 years old.
Right,
even.
yeah.
But yeah, music was my first language before I could speak proper English.
And your mom played piano.
Correct.
You jammed along.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, that was kind of my start.
Interesting enough, 2010 was when you started on guitar because you play like 8 instruments.
Yeah.
So you stayed
Not
on drums.
necessarily fluently because it's been a long time, but yeah, drums, guitar, and guitar adjacent instruments are still kind of
Yeah. So
the
you must have
wheelhouse.
played drums for a long time.
Yes.
And then eventually started. Well, you had a one-man band idea, so you had to find some.
So 2010, it was high school, and everybody else had started picking up guitar or whatever, and I was the only one not playing notes. And it's like, okay, I'm going to pick up guitar too, still be the drummer through high school, but like since then, I've kind of taken it up and run with it, you know?
And not just your normal guitar.
No.
If anyone's seen pictures of you or seen you play, they're probably wondering, what is that thing he's playing?
Right. Right.
Right, which is an acoustic guitar with an extra neck that kind of arches up above
Yeah.
the original neck that doesn't have frets on it,
Right.
and just strings, 6 of them, right?
Correct.
So you got 12 strings altogether.
Yes.
And then it's kind of like a harp,
Yes.
the top neck,
Correct.
right? What is that called?
So it's called a harp guitar. Admittedly, I'm still trying to figure out the best way to make that work with dead music. So it has not been actively a part of my act, but essentially you just have a regular guitar neck and you have 6 bass strings that you can tune to whatever note fits the song, and you can play bass and guitar at the same time without having to use a loop pedal. But now I'm kind of using that for my own convenience, and also there's just a lot of harmonic resonance issues that goes on if you're trying to like play guitar in a traditional format. That instrument has definitely served me better in the past whenever I've done the instrumental solo stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's good for tunes like Ripple or Broke Down Palace. It's just a matter of like working out how I want to do it on that instrument and maybe bringing a whole extra instrument out just for one song to a gig. I can't say that it's never going to happen, but right now it's kind of it's not collecting dust necessarily. But
He won't say that it's never going to happen, but it's
Right.
not happening until he gets a roadie to carry his
I do
stuff.
still have it, and there's no chance that I'm selling it. So
Okay.
keep your hopes up, but don't hold your breath at the same time because it might be a minute.
And when
Yeah.
you talked about playing percussion on the guitar, you tap on it and do different things like not finger tap. Well, maybe you do, but
A little bit.
like beat on it.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can like use the heel of your hand on like the lower bout of the guitar, and you can kind of slap the side to get like a drum and bass effect. And then also while you're playing the guitar, you can kind of slap the strings to get either another snare or a hi-hat kind of deal. And then almost like a timbale effect as far as like you were saying finger tapping. You can like kind of roll your fingers on the top of the guitar if your fingernails are grown out far enough, you know, to kind of get like just that drum roll effect. And combining all of those and just working it together, you can kind of create a soundscape of percussion with the body of a guitar.
Yeah, pretty sweet. How I'm trying to think as you were explaining that, I was well, you guys probably know the band that Just a Girl I Used to Know.
Oh, Gautier.
Yeah, there's a nice video of them, the whole band playing just the one guitar.
Right.
Like 5.
Oh, that's a man. It's not.
I can't
remember. I know exactly what group. That's a very, very popular cover band that they do a lot of different songs, and they did that song. They actually have one of those harp guitars too, and they've used that in a couple videos.
So seeing 5 of them on one guitar and working it, it was pretty fun.
I think they're called Walk Across the Earth. Does that sound right? Something like that, but
I can't remember.
I know who you're talking about, though.
I tailgated a little too long before the show, and I don't know what's going on.
We're in the same boat, brother.
All right, well, let's give you a chance to recover and finish up our Thursday Pigpen. We only got about a third of the way through, if that.
Wow, it's a Thursday night in this little town.
We just did the 6 o'clocks.
Right.
Now we're moving to 6:30, where they do trivia night down at the Conservatory.
Yep.
Not sure if anyone's playing later, but the big news in Alton.
Yeah.
Every Thursday during the summer, the night market.
Yeah.
And Hookie playing down there.
Hookie.
7 o'clock. We got to check out the brand new single last week.
Get a grip.
Right.
Keep my grip.
You're right. Get a grip. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. As soon as I said it, I'm like, I said it wrong. I was trying, man. I was trying.
Also happening on a Thursday night, Riley and the Groove at Fast Eddie's, 7 to 11. Open mic later tonight at Ragin' Cajun. Random Gravity at Music at the Park in Bethalto from 7 to 8. Midwest Avenue, 7 to 9 at Grafton Music in the Park. Let's see, Double Wide Duo, 7 o'clock at the Foundry Public House in Edwardsville. Salmon Creek, 7 o'clock at Deutsch Village Inn in Pontoon Beach. And you mentioned Electric Baby Powder. They start at 6:30 until 9:30 at the Old Herald Brewery, a new venue down there. We failed to mention Dave Horton's already underway. He'll be going till he started at 5:30.
Ooh,
the golf carts get there for dinner at the Prairie Inn in Dorsey. So, and he'll go to 8:30. Of course, Experience Live Music Row underway down there in Belleville, where all the venues get together. And looks like most of them are 6 to 9 though tonight.
Yeah, usually they kind of stagger them out a little bit more. But there you go. That's still a great thing going on down there in Belleville. So that's a pretty good Thursday night.
That's just
that
a
is
Thursday.
a good Thursday night right there in our little community. So. What about Friday? What do we got Friday? I know one thing that's happening Friday.
Well, there's kind of a new thing happening.
It is the Alton Main Street presents the Funky Butt Brass Band, and that's going on at the Rotary Park, which is across from City Hall.
Yeah, I guess so.
I thought it was actually the old City Hall. Was what
I'm
I
just
was
going
thinking.
by what they wrote.
Yeah, I was thinking it was the parking lot of the old City Hall
It
up
might
here.
be.
I'm gonna have to look that up and see.
I just seen that in parentheses, copy paste.
Just if you just Google Rotary Park, Alton Godfrey Rotary Park,
I was trying to figure it out when I went by City Hall.
Yeah.
Coming here,
and to be honest, the Funky Butt Brass Band, those guys they're just a lot of fun, man. If you haven't seen them and you like the Ring of Brass, which the Ring of Brass makes me smile.
Bottom line, another place for people to play.
Yeah, there you go.
Setting up shows in another spot. They're down at Park tonight, or Park it. Come on, say it more.
Pocket Park.
Pocket Park.
There you go.
Thank you. They're parked down there.
Go park at Pocket Park.
Right? And now they're going to do it right across from one of the city halls. We're not sure which one.
Yeah.
I'm sure all the Rotary members know where the Rotary Park is, but
I can only imagine that they've been there once or twice. I don't know.
Possibly doing
you'd hope.
seances. I don't know.
Here's one you've never heard of. The Lonesome Blues.
Oh, yeah.
Never once.
Going to be at the Conservatory. That's our guest tonight. Lonesome Blues, man, happening at 8:30 to 11:30 tomorrow night at the Conservatory, which what a great place to play down there.
Yes, for sure.
With all the cooliverse art.
Oh, yeah.
And a nice stage, nice sound.
We're very, very fortunate to have that venue in our town.
Yeah.
Like, there's no place like it. I liken it to the old Rock House, but imagine if you were to condense it a little bit and then just throw it right here.
It's like a smaller version of
yes, it's very, very great.
Yeah.
I think the main thing is they provide musicians who want to play all original music a place to play, which there aren't many.
No.
Not a lot of
And
those.
then they also accept people that are doing covers of Grateful Dead tunes,
Right,
which
yeah.
I appreciate a lot too. They're just very laid back, cool people, and it's the spot to be.
You know,
Yeah,
the ultimate cover
absolutely.
band
For sure.
Grateful Dead.
They-
Yes, a cover band of a cover band of a cover band.
Yeah.
You know.
All right.
I used
so
to
that-
get up on stage and trace the Mona Lisa.
Did you know?
I was a cover artist.
Nice.
I cover comedy. I just
He
take
does.
other people's jokes and tell them, yeah. Why not? They're cover bands. I can be a cover
as long
comic.
as you give them credit,
Oh yeah.
you know.
I don't even think that's necessary when I
He
cover
doesn't.
other bands' music. I don't feel necessary to go, that's the Grateful Dead.
Well,
Everybody
you
The
know.
people that know, they know.
Right.
Everybody knows.
But I've heard,
Right.
I've heard you
Right.
say, you know, we're going to play a song by such and such.
Yeah.
Tom
and I've-
Petty or whatever.
And you've
right?
also
So,
heard
yeah.
me say that was a Steve Martin joke. I mean,
Right.
sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
I mean,
guess. There you go.
if you were to say it every single time, it might detract from the overall,
Right.
ambiance.
Well, it depends
from-
on the
from the
comedian
laughter,
you're
yeah.
ripping off. Because, like, have you seen Carrot Top? That dude might rip your head off. That dude's
True.
buff now.
If we are talking comedy, that's a different story than music.
You know, they do get a little bit more fired up, the comedians.
Yes,
about
indeed.
getting stolen from. I'm just saying.
I
And
do-
you don't want to,
It's
like,
less of- if
angry
you're-
Carrot Top chasing you through an airplane.
If you
The
cover
only
a comedian,
time-
it's more like stealing a joke as opposed to.
Well, if you cover music, you're taking the song. I'm thinking it's the same. Anyway, I did see Carrot Top once, but they didn't have any of his stage props. It was a bad show. It's not good.
You ought to see him.
Yeah,
Yeah. Have you seen him since he
No,
buffed up?
I've seen I've seen pictures of him. It's scary.
Did you say since he buffed up?
Yeah, he used to be a skinny dude.
He looks kind of like that dude off that show Mask, Rocky Dennis or whatever his name. No,
So you went from a baby carrot to like a full size
yeah.
carrot.
Yeah, definitely.
baby carrot. Oh, so
I hope he doesn't come after me now.
Well, now, if you want to see Carrot Top go after Mr. Lonesome Blues, all you got to do is go to the Conservatory tomorrow night.
Find me there, Carrot
at
Top.
8:30 if you're looking for him.
He'll be like, he dropped his earbud and lost it. That's why he's freaking out. I guess you guys didn't hear about that, right?
I'm not up to speed at all.
So there was a viral video
Okay.
of this lady who apparently seen something in the back of this plane. There's all kinds of different stories of what it was, right? Shapeshifter,
Right.
possible AI.
Talk about the lady that's like, you're not even real.
Right,
or whatever.
yeah. She starts
I've seen that
spazzing
video.
out. So the weird part of it all is Carrot Top apparently was on the plane. Right? And he comes out and he's just like, she dropped her earbud. That's why she was upset. I think he was just trying to get in the loop. You know what I mean? I doubt he was even
he
on
wasn't
the
even
plane.
really on the plane. He's just telling people.
This is
that.
how rumors start. Carrot Top's not real. He's an AI.
Right?
Worst AI ever.
That's why I assumed everyone had heard about that, and it was so crazy that
Carrot Top.
people were
yeah.
passing this around. I wasn't that. I kind of thought it was fake, to be honest with you. But
Who knows what stage versus what's what
Yeah.
anymore sometimes. But
Yeah, I mean, this is all.
so
been-
Carrot Top was on that plane though.
And like a lot of people
So he
don't
said-
realize this has all been staged. We practiced all
Oh,
this
we
in
did.
advance.
Right.
We got all.
I have a script right in front of me right now.
You're supposed to raise your eyebrows when you said that. Look at your cues, man.
yeah. The way you said butt during Funky Butt Brass Band wasn't how we rehearsed it.
Funky butt.
That was more like.
Has asterisks around it for emphasis.
Oh, thanks to Halpin Music Company and Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Town Club. He's down there serving you drinks now.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
Thanks.
Town Club commented on a post because they watched part of the video and they're like, he just talked himself into a job. Well, we talked him into it, I guess.
He's like, I've got a job already. Well, you've got
Well, what we're
another
really
one.
talking
Yeah.
about is Mr. Matt Van Voorhis actually sells insurance, but
Yeah.
he likes his friends so much that he just gives his advertising to whoever he decides.
Yeah, he passes it around, spreading the love all over the city.
Yep, we've talked about Mr. Donut.
Yeah.
Smart Choice Auto.
Talked about him spreading his love all over the city too, because he's
Yes,
not
he
a
is.
selfish lover.
He isn't.
He's just his
He
wife's
is,
like,
in the
wait.
he is in the Stubblefield band.
Yeah, he's
And they shop at
he's a
Halpin
jammer.
Music, so we got it all covered now. Pianos at Ragin' Cajun on Friday night. We didn't mention the open mic at Germania Brew House at 6:30 on Friday night. And Fast Eddie's, Duology, and Generation X. Grand Band doing Bakers and Hale on Friday night, 7 to 11. Soulshine Groove at the Moose, 7 to 10 in Wood River. Toxic Johnny at the Back Bar in Edwardsville. Steve Ewing coming over to Edwardsville on a Friday night
Nice.
to do his solo act.
To sell hot dogs
Maybe.
and to sing. I don't know.
That man
Both.
is entertaining.
And he makes good hot
Yes,
dogs.
he is.
So,
8
What
to
more could a
10
man
at
want?
what more could you want, man?
Right. 8 to 10 at Edwardsville City Park on
All
Friday
right.
Uh,
night. Miranda Burry at the Chophouse from 7 to 10. 1818 Chophouse. Don't get it confused with 1819 Chophouse. Dave Horton at the Moose in Edwardsville from 7 to 10 on Friday. And the Other Mother's Brothers, 7 to 11 at the Cabin at Judy Creek and Glen Carbon. Now here's your chance to make it up to the comedians. Big Ben.
I just talked to this guy the other day, Ronaldo Mercado. He was on with us a couple years ago, and he has, so that they're having the comedy tonight at Tegans in Granite City with him, Ben Johnson, James Boucher, and J.C. Sibila. And he said that this is going to be an every other month type of situation, see if they can get it off the ground. So we're going to have him, along with one of his buddies, come back in here real soon and hip us to what's happening in the comedy world out there.
Be interesting to see how he responds in the studio. Because last time we were in your girl room.
Your
jam room.
Definitely jam.
It's a multi-purpose room.
To grow the jams.
He made me laugh a few times, but it was during the 2020. We weren't coming in.
Right.
We were doing everything over the internet, and he did. He's like, I thought I was coming into a radio station, not some hippie dungeon grow room. Dude, it's that and a studio, and
Again, what more could a man want?
right.
We were definitely scrambling to even get a show on during those times.
Yeah.
But it totally paid off because we ended up with a lot of guys that work all the time.
Yeah.
Like Pat Liston,
Yeah.
who we'd been dying to have forever.
So I'm going to tell you right
What about
now,
his brother?
2 weeks from now, he's going to be
Oh,
sitting
he's
right
coming
there.
down.
He's going to be sitting right where Lonesome
good.
Blues is at in 2 weeks from now. So we're going to
Man,
have
he's gonna
Danny
be
Liston.
Like, he's going to be like, man, Lonesome Blues said here.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah,
I shed the Darry Garcia to try to not be on a pedestal.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to downplay everything I do.
I'm just me. My name's Darrius, guys.
I totally feel that one. Man.
I appreciate it, though.
Yeah, you're right, though. We tried for a while to get Pat in, and he was always busy on Thursday, so that was nice. And it's going to be fun getting Danny Liston in, because I haven't seen Danny in 15 years. I don't even know how long it's been now. So
You know who
That'll be a
else
good
is-
reunion then.
we had on during that time was Tommy Carlos,
yeah, yep,
Nashville
absolutely.
songwriter. He's got a new album out, and he's going to be in town for the album release party in October
In October
with
All right.
Billy Hurst and the blockhead himself,
Very
Charlie
cool.
Brown.
Where's that going to be at?
It's going to be at Hathaway Hall, and then they're
Ooh,
going to have an
nice.
after party at the Moose in Wood River. And if you
Very
remember, that's what they did last time. His last release that got over 1 million views.
Yeah,
They had the party at Hathaway Hall.
yeah, nice.
So, yeah, that was a fun guest. We'll have to get him back for that.
While he's in town, we'll have to have him actually come in the studio and sit down and chit-chat with us because, what an interesting story that guy's got going on. He's a serious songwriter. I don't even know how many.
5 publishing deals?
He's on a 6th publishing deal, which is just insane to, keep getting up to bigger and better companies as fast as he's doing it. So good for him.
His album's doing really well.
Hey, I was going to say, now not just a songwriter. He spent years just writing songs for other guys to get hits with. And now he's out there on his own doing it. So good for him, man.
Yep.
What else we got happening here?
We got Rocker Box,
Rocker Box.
8:30 to 12:30 at Deutsch Village Inn down in Pontoon Beach. Dale Roberts and Friends, they're doing 6:30 to 9:30 at the Old Herald Brewing in Collinsville. Some reserved tables for that. So the weird ticketing thing.
Tickets range from free to $75, and there's a lot of tiers in between there, depending on what you want. Oh, yeah.
Normally it's like a table rental of 4 or something like that, the higher price stuff. But
comes with chicken wings.
make sure you're on time, that's for sure.
Right, if you're late, they just sew your table off. They're like, nope, sorry, you're a minute late. It's pretty weird there. So there you go. Money shots at the Tri-County Rod and Gun Club in Brighton tomorrow night. It starts at 8 p.m.
The Owl's up at the loading dock from 6 to 9 on Friday. And Fry Project, I'm telling you, you need to see Fry Project.
The name sounds right up my alley.
Right. It is. They like their lights.
All right.
7 to 11 at Grafton
Make a
Pub.
little note here to check these guys.
He's like Grafton Pub on Friday night.
Be sure to eat some
Some
fried foods.
Yeah, fried foods.
fried foods.
Jim Bergman at the Bloody Bucket in Grafton on Friday. Right. John Evans at George's Local Brew from 6 to 9. And Not Petty from 8 to 11 or so p.m. at the Rustic and Warden. So
there you go.
There's more, but they're like
there's the Gusto. They're St. Jacob's Homecoming.
Yeah.
It's kind of far out there, I guess.
Billy Nelson's down at Schmitty's.
Nice. There you go. Well,
good dudes. They do a great job.
What about the radio buzzkills with Number One Sons and Don't Get Dead? That's all at the Heavy Anchor on Friday.
Isn't that Hideous Gentleman part of Don't Get Dead, I'm thinking?
There's some overlap. I don't remember exactly who's
a couple of different bands.
Yeah.
And then it's sold out, so
they get a new album out.
Who's that? Oh, the
Don't Get Dead.
Don't Get Dead. Yeah, we were just talking about that last week, I believe.
Yeah. There's our buddy Scott Marlin with his new act, Grand Illusion. The Styx tribute sold out already.
Sold out.
That's a good word.
Scott was in the band, so sold it out.
Well, if Scott Marlin's in the band, it should sell out.
I met him back in like 2015, 16, and I actually didn't know that he had a new project, so that's cool. Thanks for the information, actually.
Yeah, he actually unveiled that on our show the only time we've had him on.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, he's got like 6 or 7 things going on.
Always.
Meatwood Flack. I love that. I love the name of that one, man. I don't know which one of them named it, but good for you.
They did a good job.
So there you go. That's a Grand Illusion Styx tribute sold out at the Oris Theater in St. Louis, or in St. Genevieve, Missouri. So there you go.
We are talking to Darrius Spangler, if you just joined us, a.k.a. Lonesome Blues.
Yeah.
Right.
First time on the show, so you got to dive deep here and tell us the biggest flip. I think you've already unveiled your big musical flip was being introduced to the Dead.
Yes.
Which a lot of people, that's the flip for them. Some people.
So, what's your favorite metal band?
Oh man,
he does like metal.
I do. I can get in. I go in like waves and spurts throughout all genres, and that's another reason why I started appreciating the Grateful Dead. Is along the same time that I was stagnating personally, musically, a lot of things were starting to sound the same, even if I was listening to different genres, because things became predictable. And being able to have things turn on a dime and also be a combination of 6 different genres all blended together was great. Metal's not one of them unless you're like talking a late 80s, early 90s Watchtower, whenever Jerry's using 2 OD2s or whatever. You have to give it to Black Sabbath overall.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't really have a better answer than that personally, because I'm not in a current metal kick, so I don't have anybody that I'm listening to more.
So I brought
than
it up.
them.
You said go deep. So.
But go for it.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable. You can catch me off guard, and I might not have the best answer, but Black Sabbath is the bomb, and I'm not currently in a metal kick to have a band in particular that I'm a bigger fan of.
So I, being a guy who was metal, punk and metal, and then went to a Dead show and suddenly was like, oh wow, there's this other way of doing things.
Right.
And I over the at the first turnover, it was still like, I'm still into all this other stuff. 'Cause I'm still in a band playing it and everything. But over the years, sort of faded. And every now and again I've got nostalgic and thrown on some old metal, and sometimes I go, oh yeah,
Right.
and sometimes I'm like, it's not doing it for me. Today I had to get up this morning and drive to Troy, and I put on some Pantera. And I listened to Pantera almost the whole way to Troy. I just kept flipping through songs, and it's been a while since I've done that. But it just, I was looking for something to wake me up because it was early, and I stuck with it the whole drive.
It's better than coffee sometimes.
He jumped on tour with the Grateful Dead a few times, but he also jumped on tour with Skid Row.
There you go. There you go.
That was
A man of culture.
Yeah. First tour I ever followed. Bon Jovi with Skid Row opening up for him. Never saw Bon Jovi play, just saw the opening band Skid Row. And then would go backstage and party and hang out, and it was a weird time.
Sounds like a pretty good time.
Oh yeah. If I could do it again, I would.
Right on.
If I could go back on Dead tour, I absolutely would. So
I definitely heard some Michael Hedges influence in your playing.
Yes, so that's
one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, me as well. That's one thing that is really, really interesting that we'd already brought up Keller, because his two main influences are Jerry and Michael Hedges.
Yeah, interesting.
So I got into Michael Hedges, which is way more niche than the Grateful Dead. You know, in high school, that was kind of how I learned how to play guitar. So once I started learning how to play Grateful Dead music is whenever I knew my open chords and kind of like very, very loose theory on like scales or whatever, but I really knew nothing of guitar and standard tuning, because almost immediately after I started playing it, I found Michael Hedges or Andy McKee, anybody in that genre, and I started playing exclusively open tuning guitar. So after almost a decade of playing guitar, to switch back and actually learn how to play guitar, so to speak, that was a trip in and of itself, a humbling one. And I'm just now kind of starting to barely get my hands around it, but... Michael Hedges was one of a kind, and we probably all wouldn't have ever seen or know what a harp guitar is if it weren't for him.
Yeah.
So
see, I feel the same way about Michael Hutchinson.
Yeah.
I mean, In Excess, then he hung himself and all that. So I don't know. Anyway,
Michael Hedges.
That's who I thought you said when you first said
Michael
that.
Hedges, but both of them did have tragic ends to their lives.
Yeah, and interesting. Michael Hedges is one of those guys that anyone who studied guitar or played guitar knows exactly who that guy is and can't do what he does most of the time. So he's a legend among guitar players, but general public might not know who he is.
No. I mean, even there are a decent amount of guitar players, unless you're like really, like serious about it. The casual bedroom guitarist, or even like some people that play out, might not know of him, but it is interesting, too, to tie two worlds together. There are at least a couple shows. I haven't actually seen the ticket stubs, but I've heard stories of him opening for the Grateful Dead at certain points in, like, Northern California in, like, the late 80s kind of situation.
Yeah. They needed lessons.
You're sitting in a chair that a guy who opened for the Grateful Dead sat in.
Really?
Yeah, Steve Scorfino was sitting right there, and he talked about opening for the Grateful Dead and getting to play through the wall of sound.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, that would have been
74.
Amazing. Yeah, that would have been amazing.
Yeah. I mean, that's personally my favorite year of the Grateful Dead is 74. Yeah. I wish they had a little bit more expanded repertoire into like the later 70s. At that point in time,
Pigpen died in 73, and you're like, once he died, things got really good. No.
73, 74.
I'm just teasing
it was.
him,
I know you are. It's the one drummer era, the really spacey jazziness. Yeah. It was just really, really cool. And then also the wall of sound, like you can't beat that. You can hear it in the way that they're playing that it was inspired from more than just what they were playing. What they were playing through was really cool. But
yeah, it was inspired by all of that and more, and more.
An infinite number of things that we won't even know all of them ever.
So there you go. That is the Lonesome Blues, and he's playing tomorrow night.
Yep.
At the Conservatory.
You know where the Lonesome Blues needs to play?
Where's that?
The Tab Cafe. Breakfast with the Blues.
I'm open for it.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. on Saturday.
I could be. Okay. I could be, given the right day and the proper preparation.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not normally up at that time on Saturday.
Right. Saturday, yeah. So we always get to be determined for that.
For sure.
The only one that's really played down there that we heard about was
Big George.
Big
Yeah,
George
he's
Brown.
going to be in a couple weeks, and we'll talk to him about it. and
Grateful
find out
Dead's
what's
not
going on.
exclusively blues. I don't know if they do stuff that's not exclusively blues. I know Big George does, blues music. But if they'll hire, if they're down for Grateful Dead music, I'm open for it. I just need somebody to drop me a line, get me in contact.
There you go.
Also going on Saturday, Jake Weber and the Lonesome Drifters. You jam with part of that band.
Yes.
Yeah, Jared.
Right?
Yep.
That's going on 3 to 6 at the Alton Marina
Right, they're
on
firing up the
Saturday.
marina down
It's good
there.
to see him back out playing a lot more frequently.
And then Love Buzz at the Flock Food Truck from 6 to 9.
Oh.
Levi and McAtee, which is part of Porch Cafe. Remember the Levi?
Levi, yeah, okay, I got it.
And Jason McAtee, oh my gosh, talk about talent. That dude is off the hook. And I listened to some of his recordings he's been doing in his studio. Unbelievable. Speaking of good videos and that kind of thing, we got to give a shout out to Gnarly Productions.
Indeed.
Helping out
Indeed.
Darrius with some stuff, right?
Me, as well as several other people, he's been doing a great job. He's
Yeah.
just now kind of lifting off the ground, but he's already doing great work, and I would highly encourage anybody that's looking for any videography to be done to look into getting in contact
Is
with
that
him.
Is that Biff?
Yes.
I would
yes.
assume.
Yep.
I was just assuming. I didn't know.
The man, the
Mike
Biff, the
Quinn.
legend.
The man.
Mike Quinn.
That's right.
Yeah.
The Eskimo.
Yes.
The other Eskimo.
And when Quinn the Eskimo gets here,
That's not a hint
everybody's
at
gonna
all
want a
towards
dose.
what I might play at some point tomorrow.
We should get Mark and Mike Quinn on. And have
the
a Quinn
Quins.
show.
Yeah, a Quinn off.
The
Mark.
Crazy Quins.
Right. Wonder Quins.
I like that
Wonder
one.
Quinn.
That should be the name. That should be the
Wonder
name.
Quinn Powers Connect.
For sure.
Oh, did you see my T-shirt?
Oh, what do you got?
Flip the frog
Flip
on
the frog.
tonight. Yeah.
Nice.
All the frog flippers are going to be down at Third Shoot
Yep.
on Saturday night, 7 to 11. Flip the Frog takes the stage.
And Nate Sickmeyer and Company and Generation X at Fast Eddie's on Saturday. The Doppelganger, 7 to 11 at Baker's and Hale. And Godfrey on Saturday, Leadfoot. Starting at 9 p.m. until 1 a.m. at Doc Holidays and Cottage Chills. And Audio Distilled out there at Blue Stem Vodka in Meadowbrook. It's Darien Ropo
It's the Ropo.
from 4 to 7.
There you go. Also on Saturday night, Horns Up. That's at the Pump House in Wood River, starting at 9 p.m. Worth the Fight's going 9 to 2 a.m. Nice late one there at the Junkyard Bar in Wood River. And then we've got Jim and Carl Mager, and they're at George's Local Brew up in Jerseyville on Saturday night.
Up there in Grafton on Saturday, Cabin Fever 2 to 6 at the Hog Pit, Tanglefoot 5 to 8 at the Loading Dock, NGK, there's Big George,
Yeah.
3 to 7 at Grafton Winery, Yankee Barbecue from 2 to 6, and after midnight 7 to 11 at
right.
Grafton Pub. Terrence Wafer, noon to 3, and the Left-Handed Cowboy from 3 to 7 at Aries in Grafton, and Catfish Willie at the Bloody Bucket.
Also,
Also
Cherry
Cherry
Bomb,
Bomb,
yeah,
yeah.
and at the Oyster Bar in Grafton. So that's plenty going on just in Grafton alone. But outside of Grafton, going up the road to Edwardsville, we got 3 Crooked Men Suzuki Strings. That's at SIU 9 a.m. Ooh, that's an
They're
early
from
one.
SIU
Goshen Market.
somehow. Speaking
Okay.
of SIU,
Yeah.
you studied at SIUE, right?
At Edwardsville, correct.
It was exercise science,
Yes.
pre-PT,
Correct.
which is physical therapy.
Yes, indeed.
So you rehabilitate people?
Uh,
Is that your real job?
No,
Never
not
did it?
currently. No, ended up not going into that. So that was the plan to begin with, and I started bartending my senior year of college, and I kind of got into
got
that.
drunk?
That not well,
Haven't
sure,
sobered up
sure.
yet. I
In
get
college,
it.
definitely did not get drunk once. I got roped into just the general lifestyle of bartending, and also like having the opportunity to be playing music on the side, a little bit more of a flexible schedule, and also going to physical therapy school. That's a doctorate, and I didn't really feel like going 6 figures into debt whenever I didn't have any yet. So I kind of moved into town from Edwardsville, didn't really know many people. I started working at Old Bakery Beer Company a couple months after I'd moved into town, and I have gotten to meet so many incredible people there and through people that I've met there, to where I kind of have a chosen family in this town now. And that's brought me where I am now. Literally, like, one of the people I met through there is the person who introduced me to the Dead. A proper introduction. I was familiar and had, like, I liked the studio of Uncle John's band, but I didn't get it, But anyway, I kind of tabled that and decided to kind of roll the way that I have now, with still, bartending, serving, and then also being able to pursue music on the side instead of having to just be a standard 9 to 5 days a week situation.
So just like if you go down to Town Club, you could get Matt Van Voorhis to serve you a beer. If you go down to Old Bakery, Mr. Darry Garcia,
there you go,
a.k.a. the Lonesome Blues.
I'll respond to just about anything
Darrius
as long
Spangler.
as you're polite.
Right. You can tip him. Big time.
Like a cow? Just push him over.
Yeah, right on over.
Takes us back to Edwardsville. Let's finish that up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rewind, 6 to 9 at Holiday Shores Marina Bar in Edwardsville.
Yep.
Bobby Rowlands, 2 to 6 at the Foundry Public House in Edwardsville. And then over to Maryville, Tim Elmore, 7 to 10 at Lyle's Tavern in Maryville. And Glen Carmen's the Fleetwood family from 7 to 11 at the Cabin at Judy Creek. The Fleetwood family does every Wednesday night, or they were doing it every Wednesday night down at Deutz Village Inn. It's around the campfire jam.
Nice.
They set up a campfire, and you got the bar right there with great food.
Right.
Great times.
And they
Steve
don't
Ewing
have to bring a
with his
bunch
hot
of
dogs.
they don't,
Sometimes.
they don't have to bring a bunch of PA or anything. They just sit around the campfire, bring some acoustics, some easy to carry drums, probably. So sounds like a good time.
Yeah, big
Good time.
cancer benefit going down Saturday at Deutz Village Inn. Mr. Deutz passed away, and it's the Do It for Deutz Cancer Run, starting at noon, and then Lazy Lester from 4 to 7. Mojo Hustle at 9 o'clock at Deutz Village Inn and Pontoon Beach on Saturday.
There you go. Also on Saturday, we got Bike Fest
That's
with
right.
Rocker Box going 12 to 4 and Down and Dirty 4 to 8. And Dr. Martin's Flannel Brigade, 8:30 to 12:30. That's at Patrick's in Granite City.
When I see Down and Dirty, I think about them providing the back line when a certain promoter couldn't provide the back line.
Yeah.
At a recent Granite City show. We'll just leave it at that.
Right. What else we got going on Saturday? Where we at on this list?
Skylark Brothers and Close Quarters, who we introduced you to last week, Big fan.
Yeah.
Mr. Mark Close.
Mr. Mark Close, man. I am going to really have to try and get out and see that. I have not seen Mark for years.
Where you can check out the new venue I've been trying to send you to.
Yeah, because I haven't made it to Old Harold since they redid that.
Well, you might be late and lose your seat. So
That's what keeps me from going there is I know I'm late for everything.
you drive around every venue about 20 times before you go in. So
I'm just trying to make sure I get the right parking spot.
Got to scope it out. Got to scope
Yeah,
it out.
yeah. Like I see that spot, but I just want to see if there's another one that's right.
Somebody else that might need it more or something.
Yeah, that was too close. That was too close, man.
I got to still be cool.
Right.
with 2 bands down there, that's going from 3 until 9:30. Skylark Brothers and
Nice.
Close Quarters.
Excellent.
City Heat at St. George Room in Collinsville on Saturday from 7 to 11, and Squeeze Box out there playing for the golf carts at Prairie Inn and Dorsey from 4 to 8. You can do the Wild Pickens one. That looks like a name you'd enjoy.
Lick Creek.
There you go.
Okay. Lick Creek, 6 to 10 p.m. at Wild Pickens out in Chesterfield. Then we got Jonathan Baker, 2 to 6 at the Long Shot Tiki Bar over in Portage to Sioux. And then Butch Moore is at the winery at Shale Lake in Staunton on Saturday, 6 to 9. That wraps up the Saturday. Man, that is
All Wheels
that is a
Drive-In on
lot.
Sunday, though. All
is
Wheels Drive-In, that's right. Number 4 combo.
The 4-wheel drive.
Yeah. They'll have the
26th
Broadway,
annual.
yeah, blocked off. 26th annual All Wheels Drive-In
Nice.
with number 4 combo. So
8 a.m. 8 a.m. Whew.
So it's like an all-day thing.
Early one.
well, yeah, the car show is. I don't know exactly when
So-
number 4 plays.
Okay, yeah, that says 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. I doubt they're playing that long. That would be pretty
They
cool,
could.
though. All right. That would
They
be
got
pretty cool.
8-hour show.
Sure. I've seen George Clinton do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be something.
You can check out Jason McAdee at your favorite food joint out there in Godfrey.
Yeah, Bakers and Hale.
From 3 to
Nice.
6.
Love me some farm to food.
That's if you
farm to
survive the
table.
Fry Project.
Aye.
Because 3 o'clock will be early on a Sunday.
Yeah. 3 o'clock comes awful early, man.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Look at
on
that, a
Sunday?
whole nother page and a half.
That's a lot
for
going
Sunday.
on,
So,
man.
Yeah, we're proud of our music scene. And Darrius moved here. He liked it enough to stay. So
Yes, indeed.
what brought you here?
So I graduated from SIU Edwardsville. This is just a hop, skip, and a jump across Wood River, basically. Somebody that I'd met in college, their parents had some new rental property that they had available as of like the month of graduation, and kind of just needed a place to stay and hopped over here and then kind of just built my life from there. You know, and
It all started with,
Yeah.
with an open apartment.
right, and
Well, it
I
all
wouldn't
started-
change it for the world.
It all started with the pots and pans.
Right.
Finally.
It all started with the pots.
Little did he know that one day he would be introduced to the Grateful Dead.
I had no idea.
He was already doing a drum circle with the pots and pans.
Yep.
He was already into the pot and pans. So
In rural southeastern Illinois, no idea of who Darry Garcia was.
So I have another note I found while researching you through Google. It says you played from New York to Oklahoma. Where did you play in New York?
So my dad used to live up in that area. I had played like a couple open mics and at a county fair, and I actually won like that county fair talent show, and
Nice.
they wanted me to come back for the state fair, but it was just like I was there for the summer, couldn't go back in the fall because I lived in the Carbondale area growing up. But I performed in multiple different states growing up throughout high school and stuff, just whenever I got the opportunity. It wasn't necessarily like a full-blown production, you know.
right.
Admittedly, that was a bio that I'd written at like 19 for my music page, you know. So I mean, like, it's not exaggerated, but
Yeah.
I didn't have like a full like touring circuit across the country or
Right,
anything.
right.
No,
like that,
no,
you know?
but you say
We all claim it, though.
when, yeah,
right,
when
but
you-
yeah, I definitely have played in all of those
Right.
states.
Well, and when
but-
you say you played in New York, it sounds big, and people don't need to know that it was in Buffalo.
right, ironically, a smaller town outside of Buffalo, but yeah.
and as a journalist, if I don't ask, you know.
Right. I mean,
something good
you
might
have to.
slip,
You have
know?
to.
Yeah. Anywhere else interesting? I mean,
My best friend, his name's Lindsay Giffey.
Wait, Lindsay's my best friend. He can't be your best
Right,
friend.
right. Well, I mean, we'll let him decide. Anyway, the farthest that I'd played within, you know, the reasonable past or recent past was out in Colorado with him. Several times over the last few years, but actually just a week ago I played 4 times out there with him. He plays music full time. I was out there to see Dead and Company, and then I just joined him on 4 gigs. So
Nice.
I've played like 8 to 10 hours of live music in the last like week or so out in Colorado, mainly Denver area, but one of them like right at the feet of the Red Rocks Amphitheater
down in Morrison?
at the Morrison end.
Yeah. I was going to say there that little strip on Morrison.
Right.
Not a lot of places to play, but that's where you want to be after the show.
For sure. And it was the 4th of July, right before Blues Traveler and Railroad Earth did their annual deal, you know, at Red Rocks. That show ended up kind of getting rained out. The weather was great whenever we were playing in downtown Morrison at noon, you know. But to stretch the truth and continue the trend, we opened for Blues Traveler. You know, like, it was super cool. But it was a really good time. Actually, the first set that we played there was probably the best that he and I have ever played together in the 10 years that we've been playing music together.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's been
we're
a good time.
finding more and more that when we see Nashville songwriter, it's Nashville, Illinois.
Right. And ironically, that's where my buddy's family is from originally. That's
check
great.
that out.
Yeah.
They're not stretching the truth. They're actually in
Right.
Nashville.
It's Nashville. People just don't need to know which state, you know?
I've been contemplating going to Nashville, Illinois, and opening a recording studio so people can say I'm a Nashville recording
Right,
artist.
exactly.
right.
And it doesn't cost anything.
The upfront cost is a lot cheaper. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
You kidding me? You can get property in Nashville, Illinois for a dime or something.
Right.
you know?
So I guess the family relocated from New York is how you came to this area?
So my dad just lived in New York for a certain period of time. I have always been Midwest. I spent a couple of years in Evansville. Most of my childhood growing up was in the Carbondale area, and then as soon as I graduated high school, came up here for college and haven't left the Metro East area. Oh. So from age 7 until 28, I've been Southern Illinois, Carbondale, or Metro East, basically.
Nice.
But
yeah, so there you go, man. There's a pretty poppin' little scene down in Southern Illinois.
It can be.
I don't know how you didn't come across the Grateful Dead down there, because I know thousands of Deadheads from that area.
I left home to go to college and was a lot less sheltered after that point in time.
Sure.
We can just put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But yeah, it's easy to find yourself in a microcosm, even if there's a certain scene that's popping. If you're, it's hard to get exposed to things whenever you're a child and also living still kind of in the middle of nowhere. At 17 years old, you can't go out to the bars in Carbondale,
Yeah, gotcha.
Or you could,
right.
but, it's probably not in your best interest, but...
I don't know,
Interesting.
man. I worked in bars when I was that old. I liked it.
Yeah.
Interesting thing about the Grateful Dead always has been to me is that, very little airplay on the radio. When that was how a lot of those bands got big.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't need it. So, that's why some people don't discover them until they get into circles where that's all it's
Where
about.
it's played,
sure.
Yeah,
and I mean, their only airplay really was between like 87 and 1990, and then it kind of became forgotten about, especially in the late 2000s, early 2010s, whenever I was kind of coming of age,
So you had your Casey Jones and your trucking that might make it on the radio every now and again, and then Clive Davis got them their only #1 hit in the 80s with
Touch of Grey.
Touch of Grey.
87.
And
when they started playing in like 83 or 84, it was kind of cool to hear them still workshopping it live before you got the studio, But.
So but despite the little airplay, the biggest selling touring band for 4 decades, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, nobody sold more tickets than them. Because nobody played more shows.
It's because they did it right.
Yeah.
They did it right, and they played like crazy.
Well, yeah, they were the
Delivering the goods.
they were the great dispensary unit. We'll say.
Right.
Would have been a great name for the band.
Yeah,
There was that. They were the freight train.
Owsley.
Yeah.
So there you go. Augustus Stanley Owsley the
And
third.
they weren't alone. Black Sabbath, another band that didn't get airplay. Frank Zappa didn't get a lot of airplay, but they
How many
sold
albums?
shows out.
How many albums
They
is
sold
Frank
them.
Zappa? Yeah.
So many.
Didn't Sabbath play for like 150,000 people out in California or something like that? And then, a band like Iron Maiden played for 300,000
Right.
Yeah.
in Brazil. So
I've seen both those guys, but not those crowds.
Right.
I got to see Sabbath play with the original lineup at the American Theater. So
yeah,
that
did
was
Ozzy throw water on people?
he
Did he have a voice, or did the teleprompter sing?
he had a teleprompter telling him what to sing, and he still didn't get all the words right.
For a second, I thought you said Owsley throwing water on people.
Yeah.
That could be dangerous.
Not bad. Whatever.
Possibly illegal.
Might get a little
One
bit.
man's treasure.
Yeah, just need a
Another-
towel. Just
Yeah,
wipe yourself
it's
off.
fine.
Okay.
It's fine. Go ahead.
So yeah,
One more time.
a whole weekend of fun and entertainment for you to get out there and check out as usual. We didn't hardly even scrape Sunday, but like I said, another
there's too
page
much
and
to
a half of
mention.
shows.
Wherever you go, there will be something going on. It
Exactly.
seems like.
And
Wherever I go, there I am.
we've got it all right there at cottonmouth.org, so keep that updated. So if you're out and about, just log on there and you're in Grafton, you know what's right around the corner.
Yeah,
And,
and if
you're
you're
in
out,
Edwardsville,
if you're out tomorrow night, go to the Conservatory.
Right.
8:30.
perfect.
Somebody
that-
will be there.
Said there will be something happening known
There'll be
as
some Lonesome
the Lonesome Blues.
Lonesome
there you go.
Blues.
Should be a fun time.
So if you're into the Dead, you know that there's going to be a bunch of Grateful Dead music. If you're not into the Dead, and you're like, "Well, is everybody into the Dead?" Maybe it's time to find out what it's all about. So
What do you
go.
got coming
I
up
cannot disagree with him.
down the line as far as gigs?
So right now, I admittedly have been kind of backing off from gigging as frequently as I would like because I'm working on moving into a new house, and I didn't want to overbook between playing music and work, but I'm going to hopefully be settled by the end of September. Most places are probably booked out for the rest of the year. I'm going to come back next year and hopefully play at least 2, if not 4 times a month is
Okay.
my goal. So mainly Alton, Godfrey, Grafton area, maybe a little bit in Edwardsville, but just stay in tune.
Well,
and
we've
I'll
got
definitely
this
keep everybody up to date.
list of venues right there at cottonmouth.org, so you know
Yeah,
what's
for sure,
playing
for
by
sure.
looking at the list.
Yeah,
And
I
there's
appreciate
links
that.
to everything. Just that's what we built it for.
Right on.
We were bands trying to find gigs too,
Cool.
so we thought let's make a worksheet where you can go and just find things like that. There's original places to play
Yeah.
in St. Louis, and all the bands that we have on, we list them as well. And
That's an invaluable resource.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no
For the
problem.
good of the greater
bands.
collective, whatever.
Good of the greater dead man.
I don't know what I was going to
For
say.
the good of the good old Grateful Dead.
We appreciate the thank you, but we really couldn't have done it without Halpin Music Company and
Yes, thank
Mr.
you,
Matt
Halpin.
Van Voorhis that have kept us on now for approaching 10 years. So
Oh, geez, we're old.
Big thanks to them.
Yeah, big thanks to them.
You're still
So,
doing great.
there
Thank
go.
you guys for having me. This has been a real treat.
Yeah, that is Darrius Spangler, a.k.a. Lonesome Blues. Go down and check him out tomorrow at the Conservatory starting at 8:30 p.m. And if you can't check him out, there's a whole list of stuff we just mentioned. Whatever area you're in, get out and check some of it out, man.
well, I think we can make it down to the Conservatory. There's no reason not to now.
I had a very good friend of mine build a very nice set list that he wanted to hear me play. So this one's gonna be special.
Wow,
It's
there
a
you
long
go.
one too. You're
It
going
is.
pretty late.
Someone else gave you the set list to play. so there
We
you go.
kind of collectively decided on it, but
For the greater
was,
collective.
Yes, exactly. You nailed it, man.
You take a break in the middle of that, or you play straight?
Yeah, I
through?
usually it's kind of the traditional like mid 80s to 95 Grateful Dead style, or the way Dead and Company does it: 8-song first set, 8-song second set, encore kind of thing. Take a set break in between is basically the way that I run it, unless it's like a 4+ hour gig and I'll do like 3 sets of 6 or something like that,
Okay.
But yeah, that's the general idea.
There you go, man. Once again, thanks to Darrius Spangler, Lonesome Blues, for coming and sitting in with us this evening. And big thanks to, as we said, Halpin and Matt Van Voorhis. Thanks to all you out there listening. Everybody, remember, get out and support local music and art.